Alright guys, I'm going to try something new tonight, something that I haven't ever done before, where I usually don't just sit here and talk, but I'm going to sit here and talk, and I'm going to try to not edit this video. So that's my goal for this one. But I haven't done much on the car in the last couple of weeks. Been kind of laying back off of it since we got back from Motor City Fox Fest and all the thrashing I did before that. And I think I kind of lost a little bit of a sense of motivation. So after getting back from Motor City Fox Fest, I did spend a little time out here kind of cleaning and organizing the garage. Just trying to get things situated again so it wasn't a cluttered up mess, because I don't do too well with that. So I thought, well, that'll help kind of get some of my sense of motivation back. Then beyond that, I did participate in a little track event. Well, I had it on my last video, so that really helped me. It really kind of cleared my head. It got me thinking more again about the reason that I started working on this car and the reason I wanted to build it the way that I'm building it. So after I did that track day, I really kind of felt uplifted from that and really felt like that drive and motivation to get back to this car. And then one more thing too is my wife and I, yesterday was Sunday, and we met a couple of college buddies of mine and their wives and had dinner with them, and we drove the car over there. It's about 16 miles away or so, and a couple nice little twisty roads on it, and just got it out on those roads and just had a good old time. And it was great because my wife, she said she even really liked driving in the car, even though it's very unfinished yet, very raw, very loud, very obnoxious, but she had a good time. So I'm feeling really good about the car. But I am switching gears on it a little bit. I'm not going to be recording much material on this, because as part of my learning and my wanting to do things myself, we have my son's Ranger sitting outside and his GTI, and I made a promise to him to work on some of that stuff and get that ready to go. The GTI was a wrecked car. We bought it as a wrecked car and got it together good enough where he's been driving it, and I think he's probably had it like 2 years and we've never really finished it. So that's going to be the number one thing on the list, is learning how to do some more body work and how to paint. And we're gonna do do-it-yourself paint job right in this garage is my intention. And it's a white car, so my understanding and my obliviousness, I guess, is that white should be an easy color to paint. And we're gonna take our time, try to and do it right, or the way that we think is right or understand is right, and make it look as good as possible and get some practice on that and just do the body work. And it's just the one side of the car that we have to do. The Ranger, we have to get, it still has the stock 7.5 inch axle under it. So we have an 8.8 inch off of a Ford Explorer that we need to get under that guy. But I'll probably record some of that, maybe post some of that stuff up. But for those that are maybe new to the channel or haven't seen everything that I've put on, I bought this car. It's a 1991 Ford Mustang. It was the original 5-liter, 5-speed LX hatch with black interior, the wild strawberry color. And the original engine and trans are in the Ford Ranger I was just talking about. So we V8 swapped that. That's all on my channel too, if anyone would want to go back and look at any of that. Some of that stuff was kind of fun. There was one video where we did and just recorded them doing burnouts in it, and that was a lot of fun. So yeah, I want to get those two things done, and then I'll switch back to this guy. Yeah, just a little bit more about this car. It's, like I said, it's a 91. I bought it back in 2008 as a flood damaged car, so the water was up just above the rocker molding. So that's part of the reason I don't feel too bad about doing the things that I've done with this car and cutting it up a little bit. That it was a flood damaged car, so it's never going to be that perfect car that was untouched and everything. So I thought, well, I'll do what I really wanted to do with it. And this is what I've always wanted to do with it, even before I owned it. I always wanted a car that would handle really well. I tried autocrossing once when I was in college and really fell in love with it. So I knew I wanted a 5-liter Mustang, a 5.0 Mustang again. And that's what I wanted to do with it, is build it up for autocrossing and track days. Originally I meant for it to just be a really good handling street car, and now it's turned into basically a race car that's going to be street legal. But I do want to keep it like a full interior, well, carpet and all the interior panels, headliner, sound, and a little bit of sound deadening. And I am going to run heat and AC in it. But yeah, and if you want to go back and look at all the videos, it's big brakes, independent rear suspension out of a Cobra, Coyote powered, with a T56 out of a, like an 0304 Cobra. The rear end's out of a, I think it's an 04 Cobra. Steering racks out of a Cobra. I did all the big brakes, the Cobra brakes, of course, with the IRS. And then tubular K-member, tubular A-arms, coilovers, did the Cadillac ATS Brembo brakes on the front here. So I've done quite a bit to it already. My next steps with this car, though, after we do the work on the Ranger and the GTI, is I want to start digging into this, or may I'll kind of work on it in parallel. But I do want to get this car kind of buttoned up. Like right now it's got door panels and a dash in it, but the heat and no AC or anything like that's hooked up right now. So I want to get all that stuff figured out. Like the turn signals don't work, so I want to figure that out. I think it's a turn signal stock, the multi-function switch, whatever you want to call that. I do have a Holley. It's got Holley Terminator X ECU in it, and I got the nice big Holley dash, so I need to get that in and get all the input outputs and everything set up for that, so it can have the turn signals in there, the fuel gauge, and that sort of thing. The fans need to get wired into the ECU yet. I need to figure out right now, the ECU is just laying, well, I made some brackets and bolted a chunk of plywood to it and bolted all the ECU and valve train ECU and all that stuff to it. So I want to figure like how to get that all packaged up so it's nice and neat. And the biggest thing is, one thing I get a lot of questions about is these fender flares. And like I've said in some previous videos, these are my practice fenders. So I'm really playing around with that. I've just put these hokey little JDM cheap plastic Amazon fender flares on it, just to drive it a little, like when we were out at Motor City Fox Fest and when I was doing my track day, just to kind of cover the wheels up a little more. But I want to build full steel fender flares for all four corners to fit over these big wide tires. So it's a 18 by 11 inch wheel with no offset, zero offset, with a 315 tire on it. So they poke out a good 3 inches from where the original fender flares were. So I basically want to build an all steel fender flare that mimics the shape of the stock OE Mustang fenders. So it's kind of got that squared off circle basically, but I want to build that so it starts out thin down here and widens out to cover just past the tire, of course, and do that on the front and rear. And the reason I have it marked up here is I want to go a little crazy with it too, and build like some scoops that kind of, so this part will be pushed into the car and have some nice little vents and stuff there. And I want to have them kind of the same shape, or kind of the backside, so the flare just kind of runs into where these scoops are, if that makes sense. Then I want to do like all the Carter's Custom stuff, the splitters and the hood fender vents and hood vents, and just kind of go wild with the car. Of course, it's like I said, it's a LX car, but I put the GT front end on it. I always wanted a GT ever since I was a kid. So I got a GT front bumper cover for it, and I have a GT wing to put on it. So it'll have some touches of GT on it, but I'm gonna keep it no ground effects behind the front wheels, or at least that's the plan for now. So that'll be the next big things, is just getting some of that kind of that other stuff touched up and figure out how I want to run the AC, just get everything so it's functioning properly so that I know it works, the turn signals, the heat, the AC. Then of course work on these fender flares, and then I think it's going to be to the point where I start to pull this car apart once I got all that stuff figured out, especially these fender flares. That's kind of the big thing that's been playing on my mind, is making those look decent and doing it all myself. Then I'm hoping that I can get all that stuff done before winter. Then over the winter I'm gonna pull the car all apart again, redo and get it all pretty, so to speak, and pull the car apart, get the bottom side of the car painted. I did the through the floor subframe connectors and welded in the plates for the roll bars, and so there's a lot of paint that's peeling off that's been just primer put over it. So I think what I want to do for a color on the bottom of the car and in the engine bay is like a hammer tone gunmetal is at least what I'm thinking right now. And then for the exterior, I do want to keep it the wild strawberry, but I want to do a tinted clear coat on it is what I'm thinking, just so that like when the sun's not hitting it, the wheels kind of do the same thing. Right now, when they're kind of in the shadow or in the shade, they actually look darker than what they are, and then when the sun hits it, then they really pop. So that's kind of what I want to do for the paint too, and I'm hoping that's what that tinted clear coat will do for the car. The other big things that I want to do with it too is with the engine. It's Gen 1 truck engine in here, Coyote truck engine. So I want to do the Mustang cam, intake cam upgrade, Gen 3 Mustang intake, which I have sitting on a shelf over here. Oil pump gears, maybe valve springs. But yeah, just do I think I said the oil pump gears already. But do all the upgrades to the engine. And then I also have that starter issue where that's getting heat soaked, so I'm going to make sure I get all the headers wrapped and keep some insulation around the starter. And I'm thinking I'm going to build my own little heat shield, if I can't purchase one somewhere, to go around the starter to keep the heat from soaking into that. I think that shouldn't be too bad to do, but a lot of that stuff will be a lot easier with the engine out of the car. But yeah, that's kind of the big rundown. I think I've been yapping for long enough. Like I said, I'm going to try to not edit this. Maybe I won't even watch it myself and just load it up and see how it is. But yeah, that's kind of the quick rundown. If I missed anything, feel free to reach out to me with questions. Maybe I can address it in another video. But I think I've hit on a lot of the things I want to do with the car. So I'm really happy with what I've done with it this year. So I really did push really hard for the months leading up to Motor City Fox Fest. And if you want to go back and look at those videos, please feel free to do so. But I felt like I pushed really hard to get it to the point where it was at where I could actually drive it out at Motor City Fox Fest. And then I did that event at the technical college on their little road course that they had. Of course, I'm not happy with the tune, just because it's the out of the box startup tune, but it was good enough to at least run it and drive it a little. Not great by any means, and it loses its mind sometimes, but that's one thing I didn't want to put too much effort into getting it tuned now, knowing that I wanted to do the engine upgrades with the cams and the intake and everything. So I figured that would probably impact it, so I didn't want to put any effort into it now and then have to duplicate the effort later. Well, yeah, that's my 91 Mustang. As I mentioned in a previous video, it's renamed now. So it's still going to be Puzzle Fox 5.0 for the channel, but this this guy, this gal, whatever you want to call it, is now Project Werewolf. So I thought it was a pretty fitting name. For the car, so thanks to Strawberry LX50 on Instagram for kind of coining the name up for me and letting me run with it. So I think that's a fun little twist for this car and kind of a fitting name for it. I know the Puzzle Fox was pretty good too, just kind of puzzling the car together the way it is, but I really like the name Werewolf for it, so we're gonna run with that. But I'm gonna stop yapping. All right, I did have to edit this a little bit because when I said the word stop, the GoPro stopped, but it didn't do it that time. Anyway, I'm gonna get this all loaded up on the YouTube and get it out for all you guys to see. So again, thanks for watching. Thanks for your support, all the people with the questions. I love answering the questions. I know I've gotten some comments before, like when I've done the Scott Rod Fab panels in it and did the frame rail repair. I had a few people reach out to me with questions about that I feel like I really helped them. So again, I'm not doing this to become rich and famous or popular or anything. I just wanted to, originally when I started, I just wanted to document my different projects. So maybe my kids, my grandkids or whatever, if the internet's still around and all this stuff's still around, they can look back at it and see what dad or grandpa or whatever did. So, and then if I can help some people along the way or provide some guidance or motivation, I'm not a pro by any means, but there's always more than one way to do things, and I'm showing my way, and if it's something that can help someone else, that's great. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later. Sorry, I have to add one more thing as I'm wrapping up. So my hope and what I'm working towards is having this car in what I'm going to call a finished state. I know a project's never done, but I want to get it to the point where my vision was for the car for next summer. Because next summer, once I get to that point, I have another project in store that I'm not going to give too much information about yet because things are kind of in limbo yet and trying to work some things out. So, but just stay tuned for that. Hopefully I'll have this thing, well, finished next summer, and we'll move on to the next thing. Thanks for watching.